At $900 to $1,000, we'll see if the HIBOY MAX PRO is right for you. And with a taller handlebar stem, this will also fit taller riders better. With a 500-watt motor, this should give us a 22-mile-an-hour top speed, with 694 watt-hours should give us a range of about 25 to 46 miles with a max load of 265 pounds. This scooter is also equipped with dual suspension utilizing a front fork riding on 11-inch pneumatic tires. The rear swing arm suspension utilizes a dual spring that is inside of the frame, which this should actually provide some usable suspension. This scooter is also equipped with drum brakes, which, not being exposed to the elements as much, should make them last longer, but we'll see how well they perform during the test ride. The handlebars are equipped with a soft style grip and an indicator bell to let people know that you are coming. The display is easy to read with basic information, and the right side of the handlebars will come with a thumb actuated throttle. With a single press of the button, this will activate the lights on the scooter, the front headlight, and also the board lights that illuminate to let people know that you are around, and with a double press, this will switch you through the modes of the scooter, anywhere from sport mode up to eco mode, and a double press again will take you to drive mode and then back around. HIBOY even provides a front pouch, which I actually found this pretty nice as I used it during the test ride to keep some of my camera gear in. This scooter is also ready if you wanted to utilize a seat. And this scooter can easily be folded down, and with an integrated latch, this actually makes it pretty easy to stow and pick it up with one hand and pretty much take it away. But it does have a little bit of weight to it, as when I weighed this, it did come in at right about 54 pounds. Now, inside the box you will see your charging cable along with the manual and other information. One thing they did include was a front and a rear too, which this is actually cool, so you have a spare already. You'll also have a toolkit along with a couple extra screws, but this is actually pretty cool. They included the valve stem caps, and they even included valve stem indicators. This will let you know if your tire is inflated properly, and this is actually a very needed piece, a valve stem extension. This is very handy, especially with certain scooters. Their valve stem doesn't stick out enough, so you will need this in order to inflate it when using certain types of pumps like this one that I have from Gulu. This is actually a nice pump as I use this for my bikes and scooters and a few other things that I have around the house. It actually is pretty quick, and it doesn't take a lot of energy as you just charge it up and it's pretty much ready to go. You can take it with you even in that front pouch if you want, or leave it in your car. Now, immediately as soon as I left my house, this scooter rides real nice. It's very smooth and it's super quiet. The handling on this scooter is actually very predictable. Okay, this is one of my favorite areas to test. It's a long gradual hill. We'll see how much it slows down. So as we go through these windies, it's already starting to drop off. And this says it can go up like a 22 to 24% grade. And still about 14-15 miles an hour. This is where it gets steep, is right here. We'll see if it makes it or if it drops below 5 miles an hour. And there's about 6, 7, 8, 9 miles an hour again, so actually not too bad. That's pretty good for a 500-watt motor, and I'm 205 pounds with my gear. And now we're gonna go try the brakes. This is gonna be just the front brake only. I'll go down this little turn, and I am doing this kind of one-handed off and on. I don't recommend this, but so far the front brake is actually doing pretty good for a drum brake. Around here. Overall, that's not bad. Did I mention how quiet this is? Listen. With these tires, it hardly makes any noise. It's actually pretty nice. You can sneak up on people. All right, as we go across the bridge here, see if anybody's out fishing. Doesn't look like it, but we'll try a couple top speed tests, which so far, this really has no problem hitting top speed. Every single time it hits 22, like it could go 24, even 25 miles an hour. Now here is one thing I did notice is the footboard is a little skinny, at least for my feet. I wear a 10.5 or 11 shoe depending. Now, if you offset your feet, this actually does quite a bit better. It's more of an aggressive stance anyway, which I recommend this style riding. Now after cruising around for about an hour, I decided to take a quick break, but it was on again as I headed downtown, and I even found a few friends for the scooter to hang out with, which I think it kind of blends in just fine. I even managed to go to one of my favorite burger places, which this is a famous little burger joint, and because the scooter has some cool features like being able to lock it out, this means nobody can actually steal it, so the throttle is deactivated and it also won't move while it's in this position. Now again, when it comes to the suspension on this scooter, it is actually functional versus some scooters that are about this price or a little cheaper. It seems like it's more for looks versus this one utilizing a pneumatic tire and actual oil forks in the front. These actually do help absorb some of the bumps. Okay, so we don't make this video too long. I'm gonna tell you the pros and cons I thought about this scooter. And now overall, you have to remember that it is a hot day where I did ride this. There's a lot of hills, so when I leave my house, I have to go up hills to leave. I have to go up hills to get back. So that's gonna diminish the miles greatly, at least by half. Now it says you can do 46 miles, but again, you have to read the instructions because it tells you that that's a 165-pound rider. It is also a flat land while they're just in, I think it was eco mode, and it's 77 degrees out. So all of that plays a factor in your overall mileage that you are going to get. Now, as far as the miles that I was able to get out of the scooter today, with me being about 205 pounds with the gear that I had, you're talking only about 23 miles, and that was really pushing it towards the end. It just didn't, do pretty well with all the hills and the heat and obviously my weight. Okay, now overall, this scooter is really nice. It's built good. It feels like it's built good when you ride it. It's super quiet. The tires hardly make any noise, which I mentioned earlier, that these just kind of cruise along. It's a really quiet scooter, and pneumatic tires, I like them better than hard rubber tires. Hard rubber tires, you can't change the air pressure, and so you can't really adjust for your ride. So it ends up making to where hard rubber tires, they're just not as good, I think, because the ride is rougher. And when they wear out, you have to replace the whole thing, obviously, but I just like a pneumatic tire because the ride is so much better. Now, as far as the drum brakes are concerned, I actually think these did pretty well. They do have enough stopping power, even with just using one, which is kind of how I determine if the brakes are decent. If I can stop with one and even one hand, and not that I recommend that because that is dangerous, but I've been riding scooters and stuff a long time, but I think the brakes overall are actually pretty good. A little harder to service, but drum brakes do last longer. And again, I think these tires are great. They ride really well. I don't have a problem with them skipping out like hard rubber tires do. And overall, the grip was just fine. Even when I got into some sandy conditions and just if there is any loose gravel, they perform just fine. So I don't have any issue with those tires. Now, when it comes to the hub motor on the back, being only 500 watts and a 650 peak, for me being 200 pounds, the scooter could use a little bit more power, at least for my liking. I like a little bit more aggressive scooter. I like going a little bit faster. Now, when I put my daughter on here real quick and let her ride it, obviously it's a big difference when she only weighs like 130 pounds. So she was able to fly and hit top speed real quick and go up hills a lot faster. So no matter what, it just depends on your rider weight, because weight is horsepower, and the more you weigh, the slower you're going to go and the less distance that you are going to travel. Now, when it comes to the bars, these are actually comfortable. The height isn't bad at all. One thing I would like to see is a little bit more functionality in here. You can't see your miles as far as what your distance is traveled. You have to get into the app to do all that. So sometimes I kind of like to just see how far I've gone right inside the display here. So that would be something I would change. The bell is functional, but I don't know, maybe a horn would be better, but it does the job, so that's probably fine. Now, overall, I think the Max Pro is a good scooter. It does a good job. If you don't live where there's a lot of hills, the battery is going to take you a lot farther, but I'm curious as to what you guys think, and I will have discount codes below if you are interested in this scooter. That way you could save some money, because if you can get it on that sale price, it's definitely a good deal. Other than that, I hope you liked the video. Let me know what you think. Hope to see you guys next time.